Hey everyone, Jen O'Sullivan here. We are on lesson number 6, talking all about diffusers, their benefits, and all sorts of stuff that maybe you already know, but maybe you don't. So, hope this has been a fun series. The book club has been a blessing to me. We've had a lot of fun in it so far. We're, like I said, on lesson 6, and there's so much more to cover because there's 30 different lessons in the book. If you don't have the book, you can just follow along. If you want to get the book, I encourage you to, because everything's written out and you can highlight things and take notes and all that stuff. So let's start right in with diffusers. Now there's plenty of benefits when it comes to using a diffuser, and you can see lots of diffusers back here. Okay, I love them all and I use them in different rooms, so I thought I would share with you guys all the different diffusers. Basically, when we understand diffusers is that they support a more restful night's sleep. That's probably one of the biggest reasons people love their diffusers. What they do is they pump in these negative ions into the room, causing it to be just more relaxing environment. That is very typical. If you look up negative versus positive ions on Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we got a lot to cover. So they support better daytime focus. So even in the day, if you're using them during the day, it'll actually help support focus. We are bombarded all day long by computers and cars and all sorts of electronics that are basically vomiting all over us positive ions, and those negative ions help placate those positive ions. So putting a diffuser in any room during the day is a good thing. I actually give one to my son's teacher each year. Each year he gets a new teacher, and each year that teacher gets a diffuser because I want that classroom to have a more focusful atmosphere. Is that even a word? Focusful. So that's a big time thing, okay? It promotes healthy air quality as well. So oftentimes we're dealing with dust particles, and we know that dust particles are very bad for our health. And what a diffuser will do is create this more humid air that will push those dust particles to the ground. And that's what we want. So it actually does promote healthy air quality. It also helps to create that ionized room, right? So we talked a little bit about what ionization is, but that is a big deal. So regardless of whether you're sleeping or you're awake, ionization is a big deal. That uplifting environment is a big key element as well, because not only does it help calm and help focus the environment, but it does help uplift the environment as well. It depends what essential oils you're using along with it. So sometimes if you're using some citrus oils or mints, peppermint, even spearmint, even panaway, can really help uplift the mood in the room. Whereas some oils, such as Peace and Calming or Vetiver or Freedom or Stress Away, those oils are going to help calm the environment. Okay, they obviously help neutralize odors, because if you put something in there like lemongrass or purification or citrus fresh, really going to help a stinky room. So that's important as well. It helps with our moods. We know that diffusing can have a great effect on our moods, just our overall ups and downs during the day, and you can put any number of oils in there to specifically target different moods that you're going through. All right, and also it helps promote better energy, and that's a good thing because that's going to help just in overall energy, and I guess that kind of relates to your moods as well, but sometimes we're just feeling like blah, and the diffuser is going to help that. Okay, so there's several different types of diffusers. We typically use cold water diffusers. That means you're putting mostly cold water in and you're adding some essential oils. Most 4-hour diffusers will have anywhere from 100 to 200 milliliters of water, and then you're only going to need to use about 4 to 6 drops of actual essential oil. When you're looking at, say, an atomizer, that's where the essential oil bottle is plugged right into the diffuser itself, and it's atomizing pure oil. So those you're really only supposed to use for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I think that gets confusing for some people when they're reading labels, when they say, don't use for more than 30 minutes. That is referring to an atomizer. When you're dealing with cold water diffusers, you actually can use them all day long. Okay, so it's a kind of a cool thing, and all night long. So generally speaking, depending on how big your well is, right? How big the well is, you would use anywhere from 2 to 3 drops per 1 hour of run time. That's a general good rule of thumb. All right, I always encourage making blends first, and many people don't know this. What you want to do is consider whatever it is that you want to put in there. Let's say you want to put 5 drops of this and 2 drops of this and 1 drop of that. It would be potentially better, okay? And again, this is just a suggestion to create an actual synergy rather than creating, just putting water in. And here's why. When you consider making, say, cookies, right, you don't just crack an egg, put it in the bowl, throw the sugar in and throw some of that in and then put the vanilla in and then you put like some of the salt in. You're not randomly putting it in. They make you mix the dry goods and then mix the wet goods and then you blend those together. The reason for that is you don't want like a clump of baking soda clumped in with the egg and then when you take the bite of the cookie it's like ugh. Okay, so that's something that's very important to remember, that we just don't want to have like non-synergized oils floating around. And I used to get asked this all the time from my own customers, how come in my diffuser sometimes I might smell some peppermint, sometimes I'll smell lavender, sometimes I'll smell orange, like if those were the 3 oils they put in the diffuser. And it's like, well, you put them all in one at a time. So what happens is, remember, essential oils are not water, so they don't play super nice together. There are some molecules that are super small and they will mix in with that water, but they're not going to blend together to then play nice together in the diffuser. It will still smell nice, it will still be fine, you'll still get great benefits, but it won't be an actual true synergy. So it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I'll admit I'm lazy and oftentimes just throw some oils in there one at a time. It's not a big deal, but if you're wanting to create, say, lavender, lemon, and peppermint, that true synergy that smells so good, I encourage you to create that synergy first in its own bottle, lavender, lemon, and peppermint, and then add the 4 to 6 drops of that synergy, because what you're doing is, if I were to take each one of those and drip peppermint, the water sort of encapsulates it and it's floating on its own. Then I'll add lavender and it's going on its own spot, and lemon. So the water sort of helps keep it separated. Whereas if I had them all together first, mixing all of the essential oils together first, it creates a true synergy, and then they go into the water and the water can't separate that true synergy, right? So that's sort of just a general, like, helpful tip for some people that have always been curious about why sometimes you smell different things. Okay, the other thing I always recommend is, if you have a blend, right, like if you have a true blend like Dreamcatcher and you want to put that in the diffuser or Thieves, I encourage you to put it in alone. That means that that is a pre-mix synergy and it's meant to be done as it is, right? That was why it was designed that way. You can always do what's called a blend bump. That means, let's say I put Thieves in, but I want to have an extra smell of orange, then I might put a couple drops of orange in with it, and now that's a blend bump. A lot of people will blend bump a synergy, like a blend like, say, Stress Away, and they'll bump it with an oil that's already in that blend, right? So they'll take lavender and put that in with it. All that's doing is taking an oil that's already in that blend and bumping it. So now you have more of lavender in that blend, okay? So that's another way to do it. Okay, I encourage you guys to clean these suckers at least once a week. I know some of you guys are like, oh, I've never cleaned my diffuser. It won't work as well if you're not cleaning your diffuser. They recommend that you clean it every time you use it. All that means is when you go to refill it, just give it a rinse, right? Super simple. Have some rubbing alcohol or some Thieves cleaner right next to you and just put a little in, scrub it, give it a scrub down, and rinse it. It's good to do rubbing alcohol every once in a while because that will totally eliminate all of the essential oil residue. But that's encouraging to you guys so that you will keep this thing running longer. We want our diffusers to work longer. Young Living's diffusers last the longest on the market. We actually have the best diffusers in the entire industry, and they have the least amount of breakdown, meaning they hardly ever break down. And when they do, Young Living's really great at replacing them. They have a year warranty, and there's usually great customer service as to how to kind of make sure you're doing it right. You want to make sure that when you put these things down, see how they're all on flat surfaces? You don't want to put it on any cushion or any mat or any kind of fibrous thing because it will block that air intake hole, and that's super important. You also want to consider the room size. So like in a 10 by 10 square foot room, it's good to use one of these diffusers. right? But this one, the Aria, is more of a large room diffuser because you can see it's billowing a lot of water. So I can use it in this room because I'm only in here for a little bit of time, and I only have a small amount of essential oils in there. I want to be real careful about overdoing it, and it will get kind of humid in here because this is a 10 by 10 square foot room, whereas that diffuser is actually meant for a large room diffuser area. The Rainstone, which is all the way over here, which is a little bit dark, you can't really see it, but that one is meant for like nighttime, going all through the night, has a long run time, 8-hour run time. Good one, very good one for the whole thing, okay, for the whole room as well. Okay, so that room size is important. When it comes to pets, okay, this is important. You want to make sure that you're not in an enclosed room where they can't escape. They absolutely need to have space to move into that doesn't have a diffuser. If you are in a very small living space, be very cautious with making sure that there's an open window somewhere for the pets, that you're not diffusing right on top of any animals, okay? They absolutely need to have space to move into because you don't want to trap them, okay? And diffusing oils with animals is actually very safe. It's the mildest form of use. There are some precautions to be aware of. Citrus oils specifically, over a long period of time with some pets will cause some toxicity, so you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it. Okay, so just some tips. If you go into the Human Body and Essential Oils group, there's an entire section on pets in there. You can find multiple videos on cats and dogs and what to use and what not to use, even some written posts. All right, so, and when it comes to infants, the same thing. You want to use a little bit less essential oils, but it needs to not be like right over their bed or right on top of their crib. You want to put it in the opposite side of the room. The room gets all the benefits, and run it for maybe a little bit less time, okay? So, when you are cleaning your diffuser though, again, I want you to make sure that you are cleaning it out real well and making sure you're not getting any essential oil in the air intake hole. Every single diffuser has a little hole somewhere, and you got to locate where that is, and it sort of goes into the unit somewhere inside. It's not outside, it's somewhere within the confines of the actual diffuser unit itself. You want to be real careful not to get water in there. Now, I've done it. I've gotten water in there before. All you need to do is shake it upside down, get all that water out, let it dry for 24 hours before you run it. It will run again, okay? So not to worry. You just want to try not to get water in there. The Rainstone actually has a little like clicker thing that goes up and down. So you put it up because it's all kind of enclosed in the same space. You pull it up to close it, to pour water in, and then you open it back up when you run it. If you forget to open it back up, guess what? Your diffuser will not run. The Aria has a little kind of thing that does this, and it's like a little square kind of weird hole. If you put the hole where the actual diffuser mist is coming out on top of that little thing, like this is here and the hole is here coming out, it won't run well either. So you want to make sure those are sort of like apart from each other. So I know these are things where you're thinking like, why on earth would it's just the way they're designed. All of them have different things, and read your manual. I mean, who knew, right? Read the manual. It's totally funny. When you're considering pregnancy and diffusing during pregnancy, it's actually very safe to cold water diffuse during your pregnancy. Again, consider 2 to 3 drops per run time. Same thing. Just stay away from oils like clary sage, Idaho tansy. Blue tansy is totally safe, you know, so like go for it with your valor. Hyssop, fennel, sage, and wintergreen. And do know that those are just some very common oils that are a little bit more intense, and so we just want you to limit them. Some people have no problems with those oils, by the way. So this is not an end-all, never use these during pregnancy. Some women can use them totally without any problems whatsoever. So this is just you should consider avoiding them during pregnancy and use with babies. So it's up to you though, all right? And again, everyone has different opinions on this. This is just the list that Young Living claims. If you go online, you're gonna see a larger list. Young Living has very different oils with very different thumbprints, meaning they have very different chemical constituents, and so these are the oils that we personally have decided based on tests and studies that these oils should be used with caution or avoided. Like you won't see clary sage on any other list but Young Living's, because our clary sage is very high in sclerol. So it should be avoided during pregnancy and with babies. So just a side note, we just have very different oils, okay? And that's a fact. So I'm going to give you some recipes, and then we're going to end this one because this has just been a fun, short, trying to get you guys using your diffusers a little bit better. One of the things that everybody loves are these sleep cold water diffuser recipes. We love to find just the right mix. I want to caution you though, your friend that swears by this one mix, it won't work for you. And then you'll find exactly your mix, and guess what? Your friend will be like, that doesn't work for me. Everybody is absolutely different when it comes to finding their perfect mix, okay? So what I encourage you to do is just find a few that are typically sleep helpful, helpful with sleep, like calming, like vetiver, cedarwood, lavender, copaiba, blends such as stress away, peace and calming, tranquil. You can actually, look at the tranquil recipe. It's just using Roman chamomile, lavender, and cedarwood. Very simple blend, and you can use that and create that. So, because the tranquil roll-on has a little carrier oil, we never want to use oils that have a lot of carrier oil. Roll-ons tend to have more carrier oil than the blends themselves. So like Valor has a little bit of carrier oil, but not enough to bother your diffuser. So just know that, okay? So just find the right combo that's right for you. Gentle Baby is amazing when it comes to, finding a good diffuser blend. So I'm going to give you a few. So let's give you some of these recipes. I have them listed out here. Try 3 drops each of copaiba, frankincense, and lavender. Such a good blend. You can actually bump that by adding vetiver, and vetiver has a very strong smell, so always consider using a little bit less, like just 1 drop, but you can try more. Some of you guys love vetiver, some of you don't like it at all because it's very earthy, but the next one has vetiver in it, so you can try 2 drops each of frankincense, vetiver, lavender, and cedarwood. That's a really nice blend. That's one of my favorites. All right, and again, you can take it down to 1 drop vetiver if vetiver is hard for some of you guys. Okay, I don't know why. I love it. It's one of my favorite. All right, so you could try just simple, equal parts, like 3 drops each of lavender and cedarwood. People just adore that one. That's a very common blend that people do. Amazing. You can also try 4 drops of lime, 2 drops of lavender, and 2 drops of cedarwood. That one will smell sort of like Stress Away, but without all the other oils. So if you're trying to find a very easy Stress Away blend, that would be it, okay? 4 drops of lime, 2 drops of lavender, and 2 drops of cedarwood. Okay, you can also try 3 drops of patchouli, 3 drops ylang ylang, and 3 drops tangerine. That's actually a beautiful smell as well. Great aroma. All those oils are known for just calming and balancing. I love Northern Lights Black Spruce, so this next recipe is great as well. Try this one, you will love it. 4 drops of Northern Lights Black Spruce, 4 drops of 2 drops of Sacred Sandalwood. So it's very easy. 4 drops of Northern Lights Black Spruce and 2 drops of Sacred Sandalwood. You can actually or take out Sacred Sandalwood and put in Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood. Very similar properties, so those ones are actually interchangeable. When it comes to frankincense versus sacred frankincense, like those two are not interchangeable. Okay, you could try 2 drops Roman chamomile, 4 drops lavender, and 4 drops cedarwood. That's going to be very similar to tranquil. You can also try 4 drops copaiba, 2 drops frankincense, and 2 drops stress away. Okay, so that's it. Those are some of the fun recipes. There's more recipes in this for different study session recipes, homework time recipe, workday recipes, fresh air, bedtime. There's so many more recipes in this chapter, so go ahead and check those out if you have the book. If you don't have the book, get it. It's awesome because when you buy the book, you actually get $300 worth of freebies. No joke. You actually get access to a freebie group here on Facebook that contains all sorts of stuff, like a recipe book that will blow you away. Super, super fun recipes and all sorts of fun, useful things that you're gonna die about. Everybody that gets in there is like, what? You're blowing my mind. So just know it's fun. I love giving free stuff away. So if you just buy your book, you're going to send your receipt or proof of purchase. Like I always tell people, just hold the book up and take a selfie, you know, and then send it to vitalitybook@gmail.com, and that's gonna my assistants will email you back with how to get into that freebie group. And once you're in, and you're gonna get all sorts of stuff from me, okay? Not only free downloads and things, but you're also going to get a bunch of training videos, not only for you, but for your customers. And if you decide to do this as a business, which why wouldn't you? It's amazing that actually you'll get training videos for your potential business builders, which makes it so easy, right? Like duplication, like done. I don't have to train, you don't have to train anybody because I train them for you. Okay? Really, really, really amazing. Now remember, there's a password to get in there, so you must email vitalitybook@gmail.com. They will send you an email back with very specific instructions on how to get in that group. All right, so thanks so much for hanging out with me. There are so many resources that I offer for free. Check out my Human Body and Essential Oils page on Facebook. Check out my author page, which is just Jen O'Sullivan Author here on Facebook, which is a completely shareable content page. You can share anything that I post on that page. Plus, you can check me out on Instagram @JenAuthor. I'm also on YouTube, jenstips.com. I mean, I have so many free resources for you. I apologize. I feel like it's overwhelming for some people, but I try to hit where everyone lives, and I think that a lot of people don't live on Facebook. So these videos are also available on Facebook and YouTube, so you're going to be able to share these out with your friends not on Facebook. Okay, so I hope this has been super fun for you guys and helpful. We will see you guys on some of the next videos coming up. We've got lessons 7 through 30 and then some. So we'll see you guys. Have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.